Vitamin B6 is a quiet cornerstone of immune health, playing foundational roles in both the innate and adaptive immune systems, but it's consistently overshadowed by trendier nutrients like zinc, vitamin C, and vitamin D. While those nutrients certainly have their place, the near-total omission of B6 from mainstream immune-boosting protocols reflects a troubling misunderstanding of how the immune system is actually built and maintained. Without adequate B6, the immune system's capacity to produce lymphocytes, synthesize antibodies, and regulate inflammatory signaling is fundamentally impaired. And yet, the average person, and even many health professionals, rarely consider B6 status when addressing immune resilience. The active form of vitamin B6, pyridoxal 5-phosphate, PLP, is essential for lymphopoiesis, the creation of lymphocytes, which are the white blood cells responsible for orchestrating immune defense. B6 also supports the production and activity of interleukins and cytokines, the chemical messengers that direct immune cells to the site of infection or inflammation. Without B6, this cellular communication network begins to falter. The body's ability to mount a rapid and coordinated immune response weakens, making it more vulnerable to infections, slower to recover, and more prone to chronic inflammation and autoimmune dysfunction. B6 is also directly involved in antibody production. Antibodies, or immunoglobulins, are proteins created by B cells to neutralize viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens. PLP functions as a coenzyme in the synthesis of these proteins, ensuring the body can produce a sufficient and targeted antibody response. When B6 levels are low, antibody titers may be blunted, reducing the effectiveness of both natural infection responses and vaccinations. In the elderly or those with chronic illnesses, groups already at risk for weakened immunity, this can make a crucial difference between resistance and susceptibility. Ironically, while public health messaging often promotes a simplistic boost your immune system approach through vitamin C or echinacea, it fails to highlight the cellular groundwork that nutrients like B6 lay down every day. Zinc and vitamin C are useful, but they act more like acute phase supporters, helping the immune system fight once the battle has begun. B6, by contrast, is involved in building and training the army in the first place. It ensures that white blood cells are properly formed, antibodies are efficiently produced, and inflammatory responses are kept in balance. It's less about boosting and more about enabling normal, effective function. B6 also plays a subtle but critical role in controlling inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is at the root of countless diseases, from cardiovascular and autoimmune disorders to type 2 diabetes and cancer. PLP helps modulate pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6, IL-6. When B6 levels are low, these cytokines can spiral out of control, leading to excessive inflammation that damages tissues instead of protecting them. This inflammatory dysregulation may partly explain why B6 deficiency is increasingly associated with poor outcomes in chronic diseases and even higher mortality in hospitalized patients. Despite this, B6 rarely makes it into the supplement regimens marketed for immune health. That's partly because it lacks the consumer appeal of vitamin C. There's no superfruit halo surrounding B6. It doesn't have a celebrity backing, and it doesn't create a strong sensory signal like citrus or zinc lozenges. More importantly, B6 is not commonly associated with an immediate feel-better effect. It works quietly and preventively, something that's notoriously difficult to market in a culture focused on rapid fixes and visible results. Additionally, B6 needs to be taken in balance with other B vitamins to be most effective. Isolated megadoses of B6 aren't necessarily helpful and can, in extreme cases, be harmful. But in a balanced B-complex formulation or a multivitamin that uses its active form, P5P, B6 can support immune health at a foundational level. Unfortunately, many supplements contain only pyridoxine hydrochloride, the cheaper, synthetic form that relies on liver activation, and not everyone can convert it efficiently. This adds another layer of complexity. Even when B6 is included, it may not be bioavailable in the form the body actually needs. Certain populations are especially vulnerable to B6 deficiency-related immune dysfunction. The elderly, people with chronic inflammation, those with kidney or liver disease, alcohol dependence, or anyone under chronic stress are likely to have elevated B6 requirements. Medications like hydralazine, isoniazid, penicillamine, and hormonal contraceptives can further deplete B6. And while outright deficiency is considered rare, functional insufficiency, where B6 levels are too low to meet the body's increased demands, may be widespread and vastly underdiagnosed. Even more concerning is how these subtle B6 insufficiencies are easily misattributed. People frequently experience recurring infections, fatigue, or poor wound healing and assume they need more rest, better hygiene, or perhaps antibiotics. Rarely do they connect these patterns to suboptimal micronutrient status. And conventional doctors, trained to focus on overt pathology, often overlook nutrition unless there's a glaring deficiency with textbook symptoms. Thus, B6 quietly continues to be ignored, even as it determines the effectiveness of the immune response on a daily basis. In conclusion, vitamin B6 is not a trendy immune booster, but it is a critical one. It enables the creation of the very cells and proteins the immune system needs to function. It regulates inflammation, enhances pathogen defense, and supports antibody formation, without flash, without fanfare, and without much recognition. The continued marginalization of B6 in immune health strategies represents a larger failure to integrate nutritional biochemistry into mainstream medicine. Until this changes, immune resilience will remain incomplete, propped up by the visible parts of the system while the hidden foundation quietly erodes.